Okay, good evening, everybody. Now, let me share because the whole world is connected for this particular webinar. First of all, while welcoming our all the participants, very early good morning to everybody in USA and Canada. Good afternoon to everybody in Europe. Early good afternoon to Europe, and of course, little early evening when we talk about after lunch to people in India and Southeast Asia, and late evening to people in my friends, those are in Australia and New Zealand. While extending a very hearty welcome to each one of you, let me also extend a very warm welcome to my friends, my colleagues, my guide and my philosophers, and the main mentors of today's program when we are going to talk about Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, naturopathy, and well-being. We have been joined from world over. Very hearty welcome to Geeta Chopra ma'am from Bahrain also, Robert Inbakaran from Australia as well, my president from Thailand, Bangkok, very hearty welcome. Our immediate past president from Singapore, Karan Singh Thakralji, Professor Satinder Dhiman from Los Angeles, and many other friends. Of course, Vikas Malhotra going for an early morning jog in Canada, Toronto, Monit Pal. We extend a very hearty welcome to each one of you. Thank you very much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, let me share because one more my panelist we were waiting for who has to join us. But meanwhile, let me just start the program and we go ahead. Now, this particular program is jointly being organized by our chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry, as well as Namo Gange. Together, we are bringing this particular international webinar, and which is on the relevance of alternate therapies. When we talk about alternate therapies, my fellow panelists, they will give you the details and they will give you the complete profile what this program is. But before I introduce my uh, distinguished guests today, those are going to share their thoughts and their experiences with you. Let me just roll over and give you briefly on International Chamber for Service Industry. Since 1994, is closely working with the non-resident Indians, PIOs, and our brothers and sisters. Those are settled in different countries abroad. More than 30 million Indians are at present abroad, and out of them, approximately 12 lakh are already joined and they are with us. I am thankful to Anshul Agarwalji, who is with us, the CEO of the Namo Gange. We are thankful to you for having joined and giving the support to program. Namo Gange in India is dealing with health and wellness, nature and environment, Kala and Sanskriti, and of course, women empowerment. And they are doing a great job. Last year, I attended their program at Vigyan Bhavan as well as in Prakti Vedant, and both the programs were superb as far as Ayurveda, its related activities, and wellness and other programs are concerned. Now, Anuja Nesariji, she has yet to join us. Let her come. Meanwhile, Puneet, I would request you kindly show the fellow panelists so that one by one I can introduce my friends and we can take them. We have got Subodh Tiwari ji. He is the CEO at the Kevalya Dham, that is at Lunewala. Wonderful place. He has dedicated his entire life to yoga. He is just 15 kilometers away from our film celebrity Dharmendra ji. When I was talking with Tiwari Saab, I learned because most of the NRI, those are associated with ICSI chamber, they are from Punjab because it used to be Punjabi Parvasi Divas earlier before we came to Bharatiya Parvasi Divas. So Subodh Tiwari ji, he was nurtured by Swami Digambar ji, and into the spiritual realm of the yoga. And he's practicing this. And since 1997, he has dedicated his full time, and he's the CEO at present at the Chaitanya Dham Institute at Lonavala. Over the past 2 decades, he has been able to strengthen the foundation of the institute to achieve the spiritual phenomena of the yoga with the modern sciences. He also serves in the various capacities in the community related to policies, academics, research in the field of yoga under the aegis of Government of India, Government of Maharashtra, and of course various universities. A very hearty welcome to our yoga expert today, who is going to share his thoughts, Subodh Subadiji. We've also been joined by Dr. Ramesh Kumar Singh ji, is National Vice President, Indian Naturopathy and Yoga Graduates Medical Association. When we were talking with him, I learned a number of things. I learned a couple of things from him, what all could be done. He's member National Board of Promotion and Development of Yoga and Naturopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. He's also director at Smithing Naturopathic Wellbeing Center, Samatva Wellness, Atha Wellness, Kailash Health Village, Noida, that is just next to Delhi, the Greater Noida. Member, Executive Organizing Committee, International Congress on Naturopathic Medicine. He's the Senior Wellness Executive, Rosewood Hotel and Resorts, Virgin Islands, UK. A lot of my friends have joined from London this morning. Hearty welcome to Mr. Vimal, Mr. Walia, and Mr. Triwal and Mr. Dhaliwal. Those have joined from UK. Now, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Singh, when I talk about it's a coordination of the stress management program for government departments, public sector undertakings, and corporation. He's also the author of Who's Who, Yoga and Naturopathic Medicine, India, 2016. A very hearty welcome to Dr. Rajesh Kumar Singh as a fellow with us. We also extend a very hearty welcome to Dr. Yogi Amritrajji. When we talk about Ayurveda, when we talk about yoga, when we talk about meditation, when we talk about naturopathy, meditation also plays a very important role. And most of us, we are looking forward to in our life how to live peacefully in harmony with nature. And during this particular Corona time, the nature has brought us very close to us to earth. When we are talking about nature, the meditation plays a very important role. Hearty welcome to Dr. Yogi
Thank you.
Amrit.
Thank you, sir.
He's an award-winning Ayurvedic doctor and certified yoga teacher from Yoga Alliance. USA also provides spiritual retreats and yoga camps at India's Arogya Dham Center. He has given lectures, seminars, and classes on Ayurveda and yoga in a number of renowned institutions, including various Hindu temples, yoga studios, ashrams, spas, and colleges around the world. He is the honorary visiting professor in Vinacharya Ayurvedic Institute in New York. He has been featured on RelaxDoc.com, giving a stress management series to oncologists in the United States. He's a regular visitor at the speakingtree.in. Speaking Tree always we go to. Currently, he is a managing trustee chairman of Ma Research Foundation. He has conducted various yoga and Ayurveda workshop and sessions. Former president of India, when we talk about the First Lady, Her Excellency, that is our former president, Srimati Pratibha Patil ji, royal families of the Europe, the United Nations, Supreme Court, High Court judges, Delhi Police Academy and Indian Law Institute. So we extend a very hearty welcome to Dr. Yogi
Thank you.
Raj also. And I'm pretty sure that we are going to enjoy the session on meditation also. And ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure when I mention about that We have also been now joined by when the male members we are there. No forum is complete because women empowerment is always there. Dr. Tanuja Nesariji has also joined from the armed forces because coming from the army background, coming from the tourism background, and coming presently from the education background, the chamber. We extend a very hearty welcome on behalf of International Chamber for Service Industry as well as Namo Gange to Dr. Tanuja Nesariji. She is
Thank
the
you.
director, All India Institute of Ayurveda. A very hearty welcome to you, lady, because I have watched and I have witnessed number of programs of yours and particularly your kahara and other things which you had shown in various programs. Let me just go through briefly the profile of Madam. When I talk about, she is Professor Dr. Tanuja Nesariji, who has completed her MD and PhD in Ayurvedic pharmacology. She is currently working as a director at a head division of the Translational Research Biostatic at All India Institute of Ayurveda, Government of India. Prior to this, she had been holding several important top level posts related to Ayurveda, wellness, mental health research in India. She is a recipient of the Best Ayurveda Teacher Awards. God bless you, ma'am. We are proud of you. Our main area of interest is Ayurveda teaching, research on validation of neurocognitive enhancing properties of various plants. He has successfully completed 19 clinical research projects as a principal investigator and has published several research papers and articles in the various journals in different languages. So, on behalf of the entire galaxy, International Chamber for Service Industry and Namo Gange, we extend a very, very hearty welcome to our panelists and, of course, our participants, those who have joined from the world over. I'm so indebted to you. Some of you, those are going for the morning jogging, those are in Canada and USA. I know that you have got your mobile phones on and you're plugged in and you are jogging and you are listening and you're watching. At the same time, some of the people in Southeast Asia, those are having their evening tea early, or some of us must be enjoying the soup also, right from Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and of course, the lady has joined from Brunei also, Dr. Geeta Chopra, and your husband. We extend you a very hearty welcome. People from Dubai have come. And at the same time, Professor Robert Inbakaran, Professor Walia, and Rohit Battaji, and also I can see Professor Dr. Chub from Australia. We extend you a very hearty welcome. Besides my fellow Indians, those are watching this particular program over here in India. We are proud of all of you. Thanks for sparing your valuable time. So let's get on to, it's 4:15 now. And what we will do, we will take on about 8 to 10 minutes with each speaker. We will go with, because as I have learned, because I'm not in a very scientific way from the wellness fraternity, but as a chamber, what I have learned, you talk about Ayurveda, you talk about yoga, you talk about meditation, you talk about naturopathy, and thereafter you talk about holistic healing. So we are going to follow the same approach. We will start with Dr. Tanuja Nesariji and let her express 8 to 10 minutes. Each one of us can share our views, whatever you feel like, keeping in mind, I have taken the liberty to hold this webinar in English language because a lot of foreigners have also joined from different countries. So to fellow Indians, at the heart we are Indians, at the soul we are Indians. We love Hindi language, but we got to go in English so that we can give the universal message of our wellness and our Ayurveda. With these words, extending a hearty welcome to Dr. Tanuja Nesariji. Please unmute your mic, ma'am. Please unmute your mic, ma'am. Just unmute your mic, ma'am. Yes.
Namaskar, uh, Honorable Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, Namo Gange, entire Namo Gange friends, Dr. Anshul Agrawal Sharma ji, all esteemed panelists, Dr. Rajesh ji, Subodh Tiwari ji, and distinguished viewers across the globe. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone. And namaste from India, as this is the posture which has taught the entire world to have namaste, the greeting. I think that is the way how we really greet each one in this corona crisis, COVID crisis. Actually, a small tiny virus which has brought everyone on one platform. And as we know that there is no cure right now, absolute cure, and in vaccine is yet to be developed. So the entire world is looking after for some solution, and I'm sure the Ayurveda, age-old wisdom of knowledge system of healthy and happy life, holds the solution and the treasure where it is a holistic and comprehensive care that really may give the cure for this virus. And it is said that the cure of the virus, cure of the corona is in self-care. That was the tagline which we heard. And I'm really happy to share that when the entire world and many ministries across health ministries across the globe, they started their research and their cure through empirical evidence. Like someone started somewhere, it was antiviral, anti-malarial, anti-thrombotic, anti-stroke, and as it is called, it causes hypoxia. So many, whatever the medicines and the symptomatic cure and antiviral like Ramipril and many others that is being used, and the patient symptomatic is being treated. But Ayush ministry in India, it is a separate ministry, and in India, it is the first ministry who developed the guidelines, notified the guidelines which are for the self-care measures, and those are the immune boosters. So I would technically start with that because the Ayurveda is a science of healthy and happy life. More than disease management, it focuses on the health management. So it is the wellness, not the illness. And when we say that from illness, it offers wellness, but more than that, from wellness, it also, an addition, it offers happiness also. So hence it is a science of healthy and happy life. And the advisory which ministry developed, there are three main components, especially pertaining to this corona. The one is a preventing the entry of virus into the system with the local measures with gargling and the nasal application, like with any medicated oil, you just apply to the nostril. So that forms the local guard barrier. I like a lamination, and it acts as a barrier where from nasal epithelium in virus and the bacteria and in any entry is barred. So it provides the protection. So there are many even gargling with saline and turmeric water that also prevents the entry from the virus. And in oil pulling, everything that is the protective layer, and even Havana, Yagya, it is a like herbal fumigation that guideline offers. So that is a preventing entry of the virus into the system. The second level of the advisory, that is the preventing the replication of the virus, because when virus binds the living cell, it starts replicating, and that's how the cytokine war starts, and then cascade of immunological processes which leads to inflammatory and the target of organ damage. That's what. But the Ayurveda and the Ministry of Ayush came with this Ayush Kashai. And Ayush Kada, it is a home care antiviral herbs. And those I can show you, but I don't know whether I will be able to show it. But these are like, it is a cinnamon, it is a black pepper, it is a shunki, basil leaf, and black resin, kali munakka and ginger. Only 4-5 simple home care spices where we can take 1 spoon together and just boil the water. Add 1 spoon and just boil for 2 to 3 minutes, and then your herbal tea is ready. And this is the tea. Within 2 to 3 minutes you can have it, which has a antiviral effect. Our own home spices, great antiviral effect, so that prevents the replication of the virus. So the same is the turmeric. And what we said in the advisory, that start your day with the golden water. This is a golden water, take the gargling. And the second is conclude your day retired with a golden latte. It is just a turmeric milk. So turmeric with the milk, that turmeric as an antiviral immunomodulator, and also it boosts the immunity. So this advisory is a second level, helps in minimizing the replication of the virus into the system. But more important in Ayurveda, the pandemic situations are dealt in details, and it has got age-old history. Like since ages, in the past also, like play-like conditions and the cholera and the Spanish flu, Ayurveda had the wisdom of treating with these pandemic situations, and it is called as Janapadodvamsa Vyadhi. So when entire community is uh, infected because of 4 conditions like vitiated air, water, Desha, Kal, Vayu, and Jal. So it is a water, air, time, and uh, these are the 4 factors where it is entirely vitiated. Some of these, like in Corona, it is a Desha vitiation and it is a Vayu vitiation. So in this condition, this has the wisdom how we deal it. And this in this condition, the more important measure is to use all immunomodulators. And those immunomodulators, the one which is very important is the Indian gooseberry, that is Avla. And like it is said that apple a day keeps doctor away, we say that Avla a day keeps doctor away. And like Amalaki, Indian the Indian gooseberry, there are many measures. So in advisory, it was said that Chavanprash, which is readily available and it has all spices also. It has got double effect like immunomodulation, antiviral also, and many because upper respiratory tract infection. Chavanprash is the one which improves your innate immunity and also a disease specific like respiratory immunity also. Avla, amalaki along with spices. And if those who are with the diabetes, is avla with haldi. So amalaki and haldi, it is called as nishamalaki, turmeric along with avla. So it is in Ayurveda, it is said that meheshu nishamalaki. So one who has prameha, diabetes and lifestyle disorders, he may take avla and turmeric together. So we just propagated these conditions, and the tablets of Nishamalki are also available in the market. And the another immunomodulatory, quickly I will mention because time constraint is there. So Avla and turmeric, it is the another plant which we can call it as a panacea or the nectar. That is a Tinospora cordifolia. So Amalaki, Avla, and Giloy and Gokshur. So combination of 3 is Rasa and Churna. So these are the simple measures, and more important is Giloy tablet. It is called as Sanshamanivati, and the ministry promoted these 2 herbs, Avla and Guruchi, because those are daily herbal health promoters. It has got those are health supplements and considered as a superfood, and it is not only immunomodulator, but it is both the herbs are antioxidant, because as you know that these inflammatory cascades those liberate many free radicals. And new research says that because of it is patient dies not because of pneumonia but because of hypoxia, and if these free radicals needs to be scavenged from the body. So Amalaki and Tinospora cordifolia, guduchi, those are the best antioxidants. They have the free radical scavenging activity, anti-inflammatory activity, rejuvenating activity, and also a best immunomodulation, because in this cytokine storm that needs to be down regulated, and this has a immunomodulation, and hundreds of research papers are available. So this time what Ayush Ministry released the guidelines, those are based on each and every word, and each and every herb is based on the evidences, research evidences, in vitro, in vivo, and clinical. So with these, every day, what we say that start your day with Aula, start your day with Sanshamani Vati, and whatever if you have, even holy basil if you have mentha like pudina, or these are, since it is a respiratory, these are the simple herbs. We call it as a adulsa, Adatora vasica. And simple, because in India is blessed with some of the herbs called as margosa tree, neem tree, and neem. So anything which is bitter, anything, again I repeat, anything which is in bitter taste has antiviral effect. It is anti inflammatory, and it is best useful in cough disorders like upper respiratory disorders. So this is what ministry's guideline has. And now we did not just release the guideline, because honorable prime minister also appealed to the entire nation that you just boost up your immunity to its Mann Ki Baat program and many other platforms, even the ministry and the cabinet ministry and the finance ministry and various ministries, they have appealed. And I'm really happy to share that in 200 countries, right, yoga is also being practiced for the mental health and the spiritual health and the physical health and immunomodulation. But along with yoga, this immune modulatory guidelines like decoction and many other measures, simple measures to be changed in lifestyle, diet, and the rest are being practiced in 200 countries. And to measure the impact on immunity, we have developed Ayurveda Sanjeevani app, mobile Google form, where we can capture the data and create a database, and that would give the recognition and the confidence. And this is not only two or three things. What the important is your diet, because diet is the best immunomodulation, and that gives you energy, and that really gives you the physical health and the strength. And diet, what I will appeal to everyone, that diet should be fresh. Fresh is the key word. And between 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., you may have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and add some fresh fruits. There should be nuts, and it should have a simple, easy to digest, and have some unctuous thing, because of only salad, it should be boiled, cooked, and easily digestible. And that is the more vegetables, but the cooked one is the one which is have more purified, clarified butter, that is ghee, and having a more immunomodulation, because when we say that why all of the people who have the exposure to COVID like viruses don't get ill, only because they have more immunity, strong immune system. And Ayurveda says that Nityam Kshira Ghrutabhyaso Rasayananam Shreshtam. I again repeat, Nityam Kshira Ghrutabhyaso. That means if you take a milk along with clarified butter, ghee, 1 spoon, warm at night, and add haldi also to it. So it is a best rejuvenating, anti-aging, and immunomodulatory also. Many people say because of cholesterol and because of heart disease, you don't take more fats, but the ghee increases good cholesterol and reduces the bad cholesterol, LDL, and it increases the good cholesterol, LDH. So I think the purely prepared, good prepared ghee and the milk is to be taken at night along with haldi. I think that is the message. And more important for the immune modulation is to take a good proper sound sleep. And what is the good proper sound sleep is uh, between 10 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. at night, because your body is involved into doing all anabolic processes and the maintenance and the restoring. So if you interfere in all these metabolic processes, so so neurogenic amines, there is a disturbance in the production, and the chain is disturbed, metabolism is disturbed. So it is always desirable to have good sound sleep between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. 6 to 8 hours sleep is very important. So if you observe all these things and just stay away from all corona like news every day, because what is the death and what is the incidence, I think that is not going to affect in my life. Only you have to just observe hand washing, this hygiene, and along with good lifestyle and sound sleep and the mental rest. The second level at All India Institute, I'll just quickly finish that with all this advisory, it is the strength of Ayush is prevention and prophylaxis. So we started to have prophylaxis study on 80,000 Delhi police, because those are the frontline courier corona warriors. So we are working with Rakshako Ki Raksha. So we are helping the warriors to have to strengthen their immune system so that they cater better to the society. And for 80,000 warriors, we have just prepared and ready to made kadha and Sanchamani Vati, and we have prepared a Arogya kit, preventive kit, and we are just giving them, serving them. And it is with the scientific rigor that we are measuring their immune status, qualitative and quantitative also, and the incidence rate and the hazard rate is also minimized from the scientific data. So I think this is the largest cohort study scientifically doing. India has started, we have started clinical trials with 4 candidates like Ashwagandha, Yashti Madhu, Glycyrrhiza glabra, Guruchi, and Ayush 64. And I'm sure those gold standard double blind RCT clinical trials, the results will come out with the ICAR, CSIR. And we are also fortunate to have been involved with this clinical trial. And now, last two, because now the lockdown, it is little bit relaxed, there is always afraid what will happen next. So it was prophylaxis preventive, but All India Institute, we have started the COVID ward, and where we will be treating with the Ayurveda standard treatment protocol, where holistic Panchakarma biopurification, oral medication, and other rejuvenating herbs and yoga integration and other also will be followed. So where standard treatment protocol will be observed, and I'm sure we'll come with the success stories and tell you about what is the standard treatment protocol. And last two lines, it is now it is Ayurveda, and all together we have to showcase and tell the people how to live with the corona, how to live with the corona. So what I will say that you just follow healthy lifestyle, take supplements, take diet, and just assume that every day you get the exposure of the corona patient, someone. So you just come and do the gargling with turmeric. At the end of the day, gargling with the turmeric, so that you have preventive measures also, and you learn how to live with the corona. And lastly, because you will, I'm also eager to learn to my friends from meditation, yoga, and naturopathy. So it is a time to learn how to live without fear and with confidence. And I would say that it is the best time to integrate, best time to unite together, all world coming together to fight and to find out solution. So I would just say we can do anything better than anyone else can. So let us unite together, stay together. I wish you stay healthy, happy with the strength of Ayurveda. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have given the complete insight, and a lot of questions have emerged, which I'll take on at the end. There are 49 questions which have come
Oh,
so far from different places. I'll sum them into 2 questions. No worries on that.
thank you.
From Ayurveda, now the various segments we will take on. Ma'am has touched almost all aspects. 21st of June is being celebrated, and now it's a part of the United Nations International Yoga Day. So yoga plays very important role. Although ma'am has told that we can get up in the 6 o'clock in the morning. So one question, no, 7, 8 question foreigners have sent across to me that yogis get up at 4 o'clock. So, ma'am, you're telling at 6 o'clock. I'll take on that question later on from you. So, Subodh Tiwari ji, we request you, let's work on to, and we wish to hear your views as far as our yoga part is concerned. Let's get on to yoga now from Ayurveda. We move to the another segment called yoga. And from there, we will go to meditation, then naturopathy. Shri Subodh Tiwari ji.
My pranams to everyone. Namaskar. Let me take 30 seconds to start with the Shanti mantra, which is required at this moment of time. Just close your eyes and feel the vibrations while I recite the mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So thank you to the organizers to have me here and interact with all of you. So we have around 10 minutes and we will divide these 10 minutes meaningfully to know about yoga and to do some experiential aspect, because I always say that yoga is an experiential phenomenon. I may speak to you for hours and hours, but you may not probably get the essence of it until you practice it yourself. I come from Kaivalyadham Yoga Institution, which was founded in the year 1924. The first ever institute to do scientific research in the yoga. So for yoga to come into the scientific dimension, it was Swami Kuvalanandaji, the founder of Kaivalyadham, who started the work into looking at a dimension where common man could understand what the impact of yoga is. And I remember a very beautiful line he has written in his book called Yoga Therapy. The book Yoga Therapy was published in 1960s by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And he says this world is like a jungle. And when you walk in the jungle, you have two options. One is that as and when there are thorns which hurt you through your feet, getting into your feet, either you as a body tries to remove each and every thorn and then start to walk, or you have the option of wearing the sandals or shoes so that the thorns don't impact you. So yoga, and I would say combined as the Ayush system, is that shoe or that chappals which you wear in this world which has these so many diseases, as we say, which can impact you because they will keep coming in. But the thing which can prevent you from getting impacted is your own immune system, your own health, your own wellness. And without any doubt, we can say that yoga as aspect of holistic healing, as aspect of well-being, can play a very pivotal role in each and every one of our lives. Yoga, many of us understand it in different dimensions. So I'll spend 2 minutes just to emphasize on the classical perspective of yoga. So yoga is espoused, and we understand Maharishi Patanjali as the founder of yoga. And through his Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we realize that yoga is multi-dimensional and not a single-dimensional experience. So yoga is for your physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual health, where asanas are just 1/8 of the part of whole yoga. We see that there is a major focus on asanas, but let us remember, friends, that asana is only one very small part of a yoga. Yoga has more to do with the dimensions of mind. It has with dimensions of your emotions, dimension of your spiritual and social health. So that is what we understand through yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali Maharishi says about yamas, niyamas, those are our social ways of behavior, and in times like these, they are very important because it speaks about how you should behave, how cleanliness can be maintained, how distances can be maintained. So our own self-control is most essential to get over with these crises. Asanas are the postures which is prescribed, but yoga asanas, what we should distinguish between physical postures and asanas is where your mind is with what you do. Today, you have, the cycle comes round. You have the definition of asana is sthir sukham asanam. What is asana? Position which is still, which is feeling of well-being. Pratna shaithilya ananta samapatibhyam. Effortless. It has to be done in a pleasurable way. And you have this confusion of people trying to imitate exercises, asanas. But now you have a school which says core exercises, exercising your core muscle is very important. And then when you see what are they doing, they are maintaining a posture for a long time. So eventually we should understand and perform asanas as defined in the right manner. Then comes the fourth limb in Ashtanga Yoga, and that is pranayama. Immense work has been done on breath. And when we speak of COVID-19, when we speak of respiratory problem, focus on those postures which ease your lungs, and practice of pranayama are most recommended practices. We will come back to the practice of pranayama when we try and do some. Then there is the element of pratyahar, that is your ability to withdraw. Friends, we need to understand this philosophy because now is the time to practice. You are being asked to be disciplined. You are being asked to control your senses because you don't want to go back to crowded places. You don't want to be too much into unnecessary social formations. And therefore, it is you yourself, your ability to regulate yourself, which is a major aspect of practice of yoga. And then essentially dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. Dharana, dhyan, and samadhi are the practices which are related to your mind. And therefore, I said it is not only physical, it is also to do with your mind. So these are practices of yoga. Coming back to pranayama. If you look at the research evidence, there is huge amount of evidence which talks of the impact of yoga and pranayama. I'll quote two before we go to one of the practices. There is a Journal of Clinical and Diagnostic Research, and there's an article which was published by Kaivalya on effect of a yoga module on pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines. Cytokines is something which Dr. Tanuja also mentioned. So yoga is known to increase the anti-inflammatory cytokines, which helps you fight the condition, and it decreases the pro-inflammatory cytokines. Huge amount of research. Second research which Kaivalya is into, which is being done with Emory University in the United States. It's the Breath, Stress and Health, a biocultural study. We are studying the immunoglobulins, we are studying the telomeres, what is the impact of yoga practice. So friends, practices of asanas, pranayama, mind are hugely beneficial beyond it has been proved by the evidence. And lastly, just an advice. There are people who may not have so much of time, they are still learning. But one of the most impactful practices which I have found in this time is to relax your mind and to enable your parasympathetic nervous system to kick. Because when you relax, your immunity will go up, you will feel better because these are times of stress. So I recommend one pranayama which is called Bhramari pranayama. It is interesting. Kids love to do it. Adults like to do it because you can relate to the sound. And very simply, we can say it is the sound of the humming bee. Bhramar is the humming bee, and all we have to do is imitate the sound which it makes. So in all pranayamic practices, we are relaxed, we breathe in, and when we exhale, we produce that sound. Now remember, the sound is akin to the N of the king. When you want to pronounce the word king, the N in the king is what frequency you should have. So I just demonstrated once and leave you with the thought that you can practice it yourself. So with your eyes closed, we gently inhale. Very simple practice, friends. And because if you want to start, for those who haven't started, start with these simple things. But again, I will reiterate that practice yoga in its essence, where it is a holistic science of your physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. And I'm sure that that would be the kavach, that would be the protective gear which each human being will continue to wear, because what is with us or what we can control is ourselves. The environment, the whole Shrishti will keep on changing. So we look at ourselves, regulate ourselves to make sure that we are able to face challenges. Like they say, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So thank you very much. And as promised, I have concluded in the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Subodh Tiwari ji. Thank you very much. It's a wonderfully covered from Ayurveda. We moved on to yoga. There is something very nice. Pranayam, relaxing mind, immunity, and Brahmari. Thank you. Thank you. Now from Ayurveda to yoga. Now from yoga, let's move on to meditation. All my foreign friends from the different countries and fellow Indians, everybody is enjoying, and some of them, they have sent across that, well, I will take on at the end the question, one or two questions I will take on. May I now request Dr. Yogi Amritraj to share
Namaste.
views on meditation with us.
Namaste. Beautiful mornings and beautiful afternoons and beautiful evenings, sir. Are you able to hear me, sir? One second. This one. Glasses. Yes. Sir, beautiful morning, healthy morning, beautiful afternoon, happy afternoon, beautiful evening, happy evening, healthy evening. Are you able to hear me, sir? Hello? Namaste.
We can hear you, we can't see you.
Okay, just 1 second, sir. But I'm able to see my video. Just 1 second.
Now you're visible.
Now
Oh.
I'm visible? Now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
visible?
Yes.
Now
yes.
we can see you. Now we can see you.
Sir, beautiful mornings and beautiful afternoons and beautiful evening to everyone, sir. And to respected teachers and doctors and respected friends in India and respected friends in foreign countries. I would like to share with everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Namo Gange and Dr. Gulshan sir, Subodh Tiwari sir, Dr. Rajesh ji and ma'am. And I would like to talk about meditation. So before we start talking about meditation, we will start with the chanting of Om, placing the palms on the knees, keeping the back straight, or you can even come in Namaskar Mudra.
Dr. Your video is not visible. Please, my humble request. Your video.
Yes, sir. 1 second, sir. Is it visible, sir, now? 1 second, sir. Because from here, the video is visible.
Yes, now it's visible. Now it's visible.
Now it's visible, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Sir, beautiful afternoon again and beautiful morning again and beautiful evening again. So, with everybody's permission, I will request to come in Namaskar Mudra. And we are going to start with the chanting of Om, 3 times all together. With a beautiful smile, everyone, taking your own time, opening your beautiful eyes, please. Again, namaste. I would like to share, if we talk about the most powerful thing in the world, and if we talk about the most precious gift of the divine, then the answer comes, even according to the scientists, the most precious thing of the world and the most expensive thing of the world is this body. And even when we talk about body, we have to talk about 3 things. It's not just the body, mind, and soul. So when we have a car, we also have a toolbox. But when we have the body, and when we have the mind, and when we have the soul, we also have the toolbox in the form of Ayurvedic science, yogic science, meditation science. Yes, Ayurveda is the part of Atharveda, and yoga is also the part of it. And meditation comes in Ashtanga Yoga after Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. It's the 6th part, which is very good for keeping mental and emotional fitness. So friends, there is one organ in our body which works 24 hours in a day. And if I ask you, sometimes people say stomach because they eat a lot. Sometimes people say heart, but heart also rests for some second. But there is one organ which works 24 hours in a day, that is the mind. Friends, you will be surprised there is one, and how many thoughts we have in a day in our mind. We have not just 100, not just 1,000, 10,000, not 80,000 to 100,000 thoughts in a day. In some cases, some of them are self-destructive and contradictory. Why I'm saying about all this is how meditation can help during this time of COVID-19 crisis, because anxiety is coming, panic is coming. Even if you don't have coronavirus, you are afraid to have it. And the person who is having it is also panicking. So with the help of meditation, you can stabilize your mind, you can be balanced between the body and the mind and the soul, and you can calm your mind and remove anxiety and depression and overcome mental obstacles. Mental obstacles can be greed, anger, jealous, and there are basically 5 to 6 types of mental obstacles. So friends, what is meditation and how can meditation can help in our day-to-day life? Yes, meditation can help. But meditation is not on the mat. It is always off the mat. So if you do 1 hour practice of yoga in which if you are doing 10 minutes of practice of meditation, and if it is giving you backup for 23 hours, that is a real meditation. Friends, why I am mentioning all this is that meditation help us to be more stabilized, and when we have lots of emotions coming, it could be good emotions, positive emotions, or it could be bad emotions. So if it is positive emotions, then it leads to positive actions and positive destiny. But if it is negative emotion, then it creates negative destiny and negative emotion. So friends, I'm gonna ask you now, right this moment, so what is meditation? Anything which elevates you is meditation. So in meditation, we have to be very conscious eating, conscious living, conscious breathing. So right now, just close your eyes for 30 seconds and just focus on your breath. Place your palms on your knees. Just focus. Are you breathing from your left nostril, or are you breathing from your right nostril, or are you breathing from your both nostrils? Just observe your breath. Is it the left nostril, or is it the right nostril, or is it the both nostril? Friends, just observe. Are you breathing from your left nostril, or are you breathing from your right nostril, or are you breathing from your both nostrils? Just observe. If the thoughts are coming, let them come and let them go. The point of focus is the breath. Just focus on your breath. So anything which elevates you is meditation. Walking, writing, reading, anything which is done with the highest concentration can be a kind of meditation as well. So this is a mindful meditation in which you are just observing your breath and focusing on your breath. Friends, I would like to share, if you have a lot of anger, if you have a lot of anxiety, if you have a lot of depression, how meditate, you can't sit still and you can't close your eyes. So I would like you, if you have hurt it, if you have, if you are having anger in your heart for something, I would like to give you one tool, which is forgiveness. Forgive the person. And if you have hurted someone in the past or present or future, and then say sorry. So it's very important to let go. We do the shampoo of the head, of the hairs, but do we do the shampoo of the mind? When I talk about the shampoo of the mind, it means learn how to live like a child in the present moment. Yes, we will talk about Kundalini also and chakras also. We are having some questions. So past is a history, future is a mystery, and present is a gift. Friends, living in present is meditation. Being alert, being conscious, being active, being aware. Two words are very important: awareness and mindfulness. So being aware of your breath, being aware of your emotions, being aware of your speech, actions, and thoughts is a real meditation. So friends, with the help of asana, you bring your body back to alignment. With the help of pranayama, you increase the vital capacity of the lungs, and you still your mind. With the help of meditation, you are connecting yourself to your consciousness. And what is consciousness? It is beyond the body, beyond the mind, it is the soul. Friends, I would like to say one sentence. Please pay attention. It is very important sentence. We are not physical beings having spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having physical experiences. Let me repeat. We are not physical beings having spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having physical experiences. To see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to speak, to touch, to walk is also a magic, is a miracle. If you want more miracle in your life, forgive, express gratitude, practice positive affirmations. When you sleep, sleep with positive affirmations. When you wake up with positive affirmations. Meditation talks about who am I? I'm going to talk about this. Who am I? And many people say, I'm Mr. This, I'm Mrs. This. Friends, our identity, according to the Vedas, which are 5,000 years old scriptures, is much more than that. And the answer is, and say it loud with me and feel it in your heart, I am a divine soul. I am a divine soul. I am a happy soul. I am a happy soul. I am a peaceful soul. I am a peaceful soul. I am a joyful soul. I am a joyful soul. I am a happy soul. I am a peaceful soul. I am love. I am happiness. I am positivity. I am a star. I am a rock star. I am a superstar. I am a champion. Thank you for the eyes. Thank you for the ears. Thank you for the nose. Thank you for the speech. Thank you for hands. Thank you for healthy body. Thank you for healthy mind. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, friends. Thank you, family. Thank you, birds. Thank you, animals. Thank you, everyone. We are the happiest people on the planet. Say it with me. We are the happiest people on the planet. We are the healthiest people on the planet. And we are the luckiest people on the planet. Friends, somebody asked me, give me a mantra to chant in meditation. I said, thank you. Start saying thank you. And you will build up your positive energy so far, so much, you can't even imagine. Friends, anything which elevates you is meditation. Positive thoughts, positive food, positive lifestyle, positive habits, good habits. If you are into it, living it, then you are into a state of meditation. When you are in a state of balance, you are in a state of meditation. When you are very aware, when you are very mindful of your actions, speech, and your karmas, your thoughts, you are in a state of meditation. So to be in that state of meditation, you have to let go, you have to forgive, you have to practice gratitude, you have to have patience, you have to be kind to the animals, to the street animals, you have to be aware of your duties rather than being aware of your rights. It's not me, it's always we. Friends, sometimes if we talk about only we or me, we don't talk about me. I bring illness and we bring wellness. Friends, one more thing, stress is not something which is coming from outside. Stress is most of the time self-created. I'll give you an example. Clashes into environment is equal to stress. Number one cause of stress is avidya, wrong perception. What do we mean by wrong perception is somebody fall from the stairs, he broken his left arm, he's still smiling. He said, the way I fall, I can even break up my leg. I'm still thankful I can write with my right hand and I can still walk. Friends, let's express highest amount of gratitude. I'm still alive. I can have my breakfast. I can have my lunch. I can have my dinner. Be grateful. Express highest amount of gratitude in your morning, in your afternoon, in your evening. And love your mommy, love your papa, love your brothers, love your sisters, love your neighbors, love your pets, love every single person around you. You will be in a state of deep meditation. Become, yes, I am Wi-Fi of love. Yes, I am Wi-Fi of happiness. Yes, I am Wi-Fi of positivity. Yes, I am Wi-Fi of romance. Yes, I am Wi-Fi of creativity. Yes, I am Wi-Fi of highest amount of positive energy. Yes, brothers and sisters, you are the Wi-Fi. Become your, when wherever we go, we look for internet. Oh, you have a Wi-Fi, you have a Wi-Fi. We need to connect to our inner Wi-Fi, which is beyond the body, beyond the mind. Then you are into the state of meditation. Friends, do you know your password? Yes, I know my password and I connect to my inner Wi-Fi every morning, every afternoon, every evening, every night. I sleep with my Wi-Fi, I wake up with my Wi-Fi, and the whole day I say, we are connected to the universe, we are connected to the planet, we are connected to the blue sky, we are connected to the birds, we are connected to the animals, we are connected to the Mother Ganga, we are connected to the planet Earth, we are connected to the universe, we are connected to our parents, everyone, with love, with peace, with joy, with happiness. And we are extremely, extremely grateful to Divine for every morning, every beautiful morning, every beautiful afternoon, every evening. Your immunity, and I like to say, one time one lady said, I'm very poor to one priest. What can I give to others? He said, you are very rich. You can give a beautiful smile and you can donate blood. She said, I'm very poor. My hemoglobin level is very down. Friends, I donate blood every day. How? By my speech, by my words, and by my beautiful, sweet, happy words. We increase the current in the people. Somebody called, oh, romantic morning, romantic afternoon, romantic evening, beautiful morning, beautiful afternoon, beautiful. So when you are aware of your thoughts, if the negative thoughts come in my system, I express gratitude and I let it go. I forgive it. And when you are expressing gratitude, you delete the negativity in your system. And when you are expressing smile and positivity, when you smile 30 seconds, like a child, open smile, you increase your immunity. And when your inner immunity level goes up, you protect yourself from infection. So friends, 500 smiles a day, that's what I would like to prescribe you from here, from the topic of meditation. Being happy is also a state of meditation. Being peaceful, joyful, like a child with a beautiful, soft, gentle smile, or a big smile and a super big smile is also a state of meditation. Friends, we are here, living here in the foothills of Himalayas. As a 4th generation Ayurveda doctor, our family has Arogyadham Ayurveda Treatment Center in Rishikesh, and I have been very lucky. Just this week, we got our BBC documentary Marigold series, which is on BBC. This week we are there on their website. Next week we are on UK, Scotland, Ireland, and we are talking about I'm a divine soul, I'm a happy souls, and the BBC is telecasting us. The idea is to motivate others to have happy, healthy, and peaceful life. We have to work on ourselves so much. Every day I work on myself. I wake up early in the morning before sunrise, and I tune myself with the Mother Earth, with the 5 elements, fire, air, space, earth, and water. And let's spread smile, let's spread love. Let's spread wisdom. Let's take the blessing of our elders. And let's smile, smile, and smile, and love, and love, and love. Thank you, sir, Gulshan sir. Thank you, Subodh Tiwari sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Rajeshi. Thank you, Namo Gange. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogi Amitraji. You have brought right from Ayurveda to yoga to meditation. Good. And you know, generally, in a polite way, I'll mention ladies, they don't tell their age. And nowadays, human being, the male members also. I'm 70-year young, and the energy in me is that of a boy of 25 years.
Oh, wow, sir. This is inspiring, sir.
When I was watching you, I was
Yes,
remembering the meditation and the motivational talk which I give it overseas in the different countries. Today is my day. This is my year. This is my season. This is my decade. You are the best. You are the best. And that's what I was trying to recollect and remember.
oh,
So,
wow.
gentlemen, from yoga, from meditation, and from, of course, when we talk Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, now we move on to naturopathy. That is again very, very important to all of us. I invite and extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Rajesh Kumarji. Let's hear you. Let's have your views. And then, of course, because it's already 6 minutes past 5 o'clock, so we give a time to you now. We must do justice with you. And then we will have about 2 questions each. A lot of questions are pouring in, but we will have about 2 questions each, depending on the speakers, wherever we can fit in. With these words, we extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Rajesh Kumarji.
Thank you, sir. A warm welcome to all of you joining in the audience from different parts of the globe for this webinar, which is dwelling on the different aspects of Indian systems of medicine. I welcome you all from my organization, INIGMA, Indian Naturopathy and Yoga Graduates Medical Association. Thank you for the opportunity, Gulshan Sharma ji and International Chamber of Service Industry for hosting such elite panelists like Madam Tanuja Manoj Nesri ji, Subodh Tiwari ji. To give a complete perspective of Ayurveda, yoga and naturopathy into this webinar, I'll take a couple of minutes, all of you, to present to you how my profession is placed among the Ayush healthcare in India. You know that India has a very pluralistic kind of healthcare system, where other than modern medicine, we have a range of Ayush healthcare systems, including Ayurveda, yoga and naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. And among that, the second one, the yoga and naturopathy, the first medical college was started in 1970 at Hyderabad under Osmania University. And in 1989, the Bachelor of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences started simultaneously at 2 colleges, one in Mangalore and another in Hyderabad. And from 2011 onwards, we have MD programs in yoga and naturopathy in 4 subjects: clinical yoga, clinical naturopathy, clinical nutrition, and clinical acupuncture and energy medicine. From 2017 onwards, Ministry of Ayush has also initiated a central register for yoga and naturopathy physicians. So with this, I would like to mention a few more facts to all of you to understand how is the progress of yoga and naturopathy in this country. One is the fact that there are 50 yoga and naturopathy medical colleges in 12 states, all of them or most of them affiliated to medical, health or Ayush universities. 4 medical colleges are running MD programs, and several universities and reputed medical institutes, including All India Institute of Medical Sciences, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, are admitting BNYS graduates for PhD programs. 16 states have framed laws and rules for yoga and naturopathy medical practice. And Apart from private practice, yoga and naturopathic physicians are actively engaged in public health care services at premier medical institutes, like I already mentioned, AIMS, NIMHANS, Ayush institutions, National Health Mission, and state health systems in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Telangana, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Manipur, Nagaland, and Meghalaya. So a large number of our graduates are now being incorporated into the public healthcare system. Now, looking at the topic of today, what is the relevance of naturopathy during COVID-19? Let us first understand what is naturopathy. So naturopathic medicine is a distinct primary healthcare profession emphasizing prevention, treatment, and optimal health through the use of therapeutic methods and substances that encourage individuals' inherent self-healing process. The practice of naturopathic medicine includes modern and traditional, scientific and empirical methods. Now, this is very important for all of us to understand that naturopathy is gives so much of importance to your self-healing mechanism. And there are 6 primary principles on which naturopathy is established. And the first principle is that whatever we do as practitioners or as medical professionals, we should not do any harm to our patients or to our clients. So first, do no harm is the first principle of naturopathic medicine. The second principle of naturopathy is identify and treat the causes. You always treat the cause, not the symptoms. The third is treat the whole person. It's a holistic system of medicine where we are treating the whole person, not a particular organ or not a particular system where the disease is or disorder is appearing. We are treating the body, mind, and spirit. Then we believe in the healing power of nature. Then this fifth principle is physician as a teacher. Physician has to tell his patient why the problems may have occurred and what he can do himself to overcome them. And the sixth principle and very important principle is prevention. There are a lot of conditions which we can prevent, and people should be taught how to be away from them. Now, in the context of COVID-19, it is important for all of us to understand that human species and our ancestors have existed on this planet for about 1 million years or longer. Virtually all of that time, we did not have antibiotics, vaccinations, or any other modern medical advances that are now deemed necessary to be healthy. During all this time of our history, our species could not have survived if we did not have the basic ability to defend ourselves against infections. The serious epidemics and infectious diseases which prompted to develop vaccinations were caused by poor sanitation and nutrition, by living in unnatural manners as an effect of urbanization and industrialization. As we know that majority of the infectious conditions require a kind of environment and a host which interact with an infection. So infections do not affect the same way to everyone. It requires a favorable environment for the bacteria or the virus to grow and the perfect host where it can actually cause the disease. Even in case of COVID-19, as we know, about 2/3 of the patients who are being diagnosed, they are asymptomatic. They do not have any symptoms of the COVID-19. So only 1/3 of the people who are tested, they are showing the symptoms of COVID-19. Number two, only 5 to 10% of the cases who are tested positive, they need hospitalization. They need the healthcare services. And then out of them, the highest mortality rate, highest death rate which has gone in COVID-19 is 3%. So usually it varies from 1 to 3% of the total positive cases diagnosed. So which means that 99% of the people, or you can say safely 97 to 99% of the people in this world, though the COVID-19 is a very new virus, it's just a 6 months old virus, our body has been capable of dealing with this condition. So how have we been dealing this condition? So we have been dealing this condition because we know that there is something called as immune system in our body, and that is the best protection against any virus or any infection. The best way to create a healthy immune system is to live a health promoting lifestyle, which consists of proper choices regarding diet, exercise, sleep, and stress reduction, among other things. So as we all know that there are various lifestyle factors which are responsible for a good or better immune system, and those are diet, exercise, sleep, and stress reduction methods. These choices all align with core naturopathic philosophy, which recognizes the need to live in harmony with nature and provide our bodies with sufficient sustenance, not just on the physical, but also the mental, emotional, and spiritual planes of being. Naturopathy combines conventional scientific knowledge with traditional wisdom into a holistic medical practice. While understanding the symptoms of diseases and their treatment, a naturopath goes beyond specific diseases and disorders and attempts to help the body heal itself and to prevent disease from occurring by boosting the immune system. Now we all know that after the COVID-19 thing has come, everybody is talking about immunity, immune boosters, immune boosting, because we know that immunity is the most important factor which keeps us away from a disease, which helps us heal from the diseased condition and gets us to healthier conditions. So what is immune system? Immune system is to prevent disease from occurring by creating barriers to pathogens. So like you have a kind of border between India and Pakistan, or between any two countries, where you can't simply enter. You need to have permissions, you need to have a visa. Then only you can enter that country. If you try to invade from the borders, then there is a border control system along all the countries' borders. So in India, we call it border security force, which is protecting our borders. So our immune system is like a border security force guarding our nation. So there are two kinds of immune mechanisms. One is called innate immunity. So innate immunity is that part of the immune system which detects the presence of an invading organism and tries to eliminate it, like eliminating right at the border when the pathogen is trying to enter. The second one is acquired immunity. We know through our experience that what are the invaders from our previous experiences, and once they invade, we try to eliminate it through our experiences. Then there is a simple thing why boosting immunity is important. When body is under strong attack from pathogens, vaccines and antibiotics have played a very major role to prevent and treat many life-threatening illnesses caused by pathogens. But they are flawed in that they are designed to treat or prevent a specific ailments or a specific germs. They cannot give you a protection for a range of germs. So a vaccine is invented for a particular germ. So your immune system is not like that. Your immune system is much vast. It gives you protection from anything which your body can be harmed from. So the beauty of the human immune system is that it is designed to prevent all kinds of diseases. The role of the naturopath is to teach us how to take care of our immune system, so our immune system can take care of us. Now, What are those common factors which are affecting our immunity? So we know that germs affect our immunity in a big way. Poor lifestyle habits like lack of sleep, as madam was telling, poor nutrition, fast food habits, stress, and lack of certain nutrients may affect our immunity in a big way. Then there is also one chemical induced immunity effect, and that you know that those people who use a lot of antibiotics, they are more prone to infections, because there is a immune compromise which happens because the antibiotics not only kill the bacteria which you are taking it for, it also kills a lot of healthy bacteria, bacterial flora, what we call as friendly bacterial flora. And then there is something called as toxicity. So there are a lot of environmental toxins and chemicals, smoking, alcohol, food adulterations, which are also affecting our immunity in a big way in modern lifestyle. So how naturopathy helps building immunity? A naturopath will recommend lifestyle and dietary measures to start with. The first thing he will do is he will ask you to eat variety of seasonal fruits and vegetables. This is the commonest advice a naturopath would give to all of you to improve your immunity, to just go for seasonal fruits and vegetables. Make sure that both kids as well as adults are encouraged to eat a minimum of 4 to 6 servings of seasonal and locally grown, and if possible organic fruits and vegetables of at least 4 different colors. Now this 4 different colors is added to give you an understanding that different kinds of vegetables, creating a variety in fruits and vegetables give us a variety of nutrients. Many minerals and vitamins we may be missing because we are eating certain favorites. So increase the range of fruits and vegetables which you can eat every day, and more you eat, more the nutrients supply to your body. Then there are certain vegetables and fruits which can be called as immune boosting, and those are carrots, wheatgrass, celery, broccoli, beetroot, onions, garlic, turmeric, and fruits like berries, lemons, oranges, grapefruit, and papaya. These are some of the commonest fruits and vegetables which we buy on a daily basis, but we have to concentrate on these when we are thinking of having a better immunity. Now, when we are consuming the grains, we have to be mindful of eating whole grains and plant proteins. Try to avoid the animal proteins which have a lot of metabolic cost to your body. Go for the plant-based proteins. Eating complex carbohydrates like multiple kinds of whole grains and healthy sources of proteins like beans, legumes, and nuts are essential to have a wholesome nutrition which keeps our immune system functioning optimally. Then there is a lot of talk now going on natural probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotic factors. And curd, buttermilk, lassi, as we know in Indian meals, is an essential component that has a good amount of healthy bacteria, which helps us grow the healthy gut, which not only helps us have a better immune system, but also produces a lot of good fatty acids. In addition, you might be also required to take some vitamins and minerals. Some of the vitamins which are very helpful are vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, B complex, zinc, and selenium. These 2 minerals are specifically recommended to improve the immune system. Avoid processed food. Anything which is too oily or too fried or deep fried items, or anything which is heavily processed, those things should definitely be avoided. A few more things, just 2 more things I would say. Physical exercise is one very good thing which everybody should go. Stress reduction and detox regimen, fasting. If you are ill, if your stomach is not well, then you should go for fasting. Most good way to go for fasting is going for fasting on just water or fruit juices, and fasting definitely helps you recover much better. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's so very kind of you. And I would like to now take all the panelists on unmute. Subodhji, yes. And thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Somebody is okay, fine. Thank you very much. Now, the best part is that while Dr. Rajesh was delivering his views, that time Dr. Tanuja ji was kind enough to reply some of the questions directly. I'm so grateful to her. I was watching it very carefully. So, fellow panelists, as we have overshot 26 minutes time, it means the thought was so intimating and it was so involving. Everybody enjoyed. My participants are right over there. I'll just take and sum up few questions and they will be clubbed together instead of doing it separately. First, to take on Dr. Some mic is giving. Okay. Let's unmute Dr. Saab's mic and Dr. Ma'am, Dr.
Yes.
Tanuja ma'am.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm
most of the questions you have already, I was so happy that on the Zoom webinar chat, you were already replying, couple of things you were taking and all that. 3-4 things to be summed up together because we were live on the Facebook also. So some questions from the Facebook have come on my WhatsApp also directly. They have asked me, number one, that this Ayush Kahada and the Vatti and other things what you are showing, in the foreign countries, when the flights are suspended, everything and all that, what is the modus operandi? How can they get it abroad? That is one part, one question they have asked me. Secondly, there is some lady who has asked me, Rakshodhara Dhupan. Rakshodhara Dhupan. Yeah, that is the thing. Is it helpful?
Yes.
And one more question I'll take, just that of course will be for Yogi Amrit Raj. That is Kundalini. That is for the Yogi Amrit Raj. I'll take on later. Ma'am, let's sum up your questions first together.
Yeah. Yes.
How these medicines are available abroad, number one. Number two was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people have asked that is ICMR working out with the Ministry of Ayush somewhere,
Yeah.
Ayurveda going global with regard to now being acceptable, particularly for the insurance coverage also, because people are getting insurance coverage into the allopathic medicines, but now coming to Ayurveda also because most of the NRIs are having their insurance coverage abroad.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, so first it's yes, Ayurveda and ICMR along with CSIR are working together to validate the claim of hypothesis of having its antiviral and immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory activity of 4 candidates. One is Ashwagandha, Vithania somnifera, other is Glycyrrhiza glabra, Mulethi, Yashtimadu, third is Giloy, which I mentioned as a preventive kit, it's a Tinospora cordifolia, and the fourth is already worked by council, that is Ayush 64, which has Alsenia scholaris and Kutki, all bitter herbs. Now the first question which many had asked, what about the kadha, kashai? It is a herbal tea, and just mentioned earlier, it is a home care, self-care measure because I have the ingredients of this. I don't know whether I'll be able to show it, but yes, I am not sure able to show it. But this is cinnamon, dalchini, cinnamon. Second is black pepper, kali miri. Third is munakka, black resin. Fourth is tulsi and ginger. So all these 5 herbs are available in everyone's kitchen and nearby area. And in the outside India, if you don't get holy basil, you get pudina or mentha variety, any variety of the pudina or mentha, all rosemary, lavender. So you can add those herbs also, which are aromatic and bitter. So this is a herbal tea, the spices and the bitter. So you can prepare it. Guduchi, Tinospora cordifolia. This is available abundantly in India, but now I think through ministries and the missions and the embassies, because the ministries coming out with the through its manufacturing unit IMPCL and many other industries, they have come out. Even Himalaya and the Dabur and the Vaidina, who have their overseas counter, they also have come out with the Guduchi capsule. Capsule, it is nothing one and the same. And if you don't have anything, you have turmeric at your home. So turmeric and avla, if you get in Indian store, I think that together can really help it. And now coming to insurance, yes, in India, many insurance, more than 25 insurance companies, they have come forward, and many Ayush prescription is being get reimbursed. So I think the insurance company, because Ministry of Ayush has signed a MOU also, so it is the entire Ayush package, even in PMJY and Ayushman Bharat, which is the largest wellness public health initiative of Ministry of Ayush and the Government of India. So this year, 1,25,000 wellness clinics are also there, and the insurance of more than 5 lakhs, even there Ayush is also covered. I think I have covered all. And the Rukshogna Dhum last is a herbal fumigation which includes again neem, and if you have gugul, loban, or if you have sarso, whatever you have, you can just have it is a herbal fumigation that protects you from the external environment, where the not only entry of virus but the bacteria and the pollutants, that protects and cleanses external environment, so that you don't get, the air is cleaned, purified, so you don't get even droplet infection and airborne infection. So Rakshogna Dhoom as a herbal fumigation is really must, and it is essential. Whatever you have dhoom, dhupana samagri, in any puja ghar you have, in spiritual houses, then you can just use that.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Barabar.
Very kind of you. And we would be winding up in another 1 minute because some of the people have got some other webinars. One quick question for Dr. Yogi Amrit Raji. Some of the Britishers are asking me what to do when the body itches during meditation, because they say that body starts itching when we do meditation. And secondly, somebody has asked me what is Kundalini. These two things, if you can just quickly take on.
Now, I would like to share, as they are mentioning, the body starts itching. There could be many reasons. It could be the the flow of the energy, and I will suggest to use Ayurveda, which is the science of life, in the form of Panchkarma, which is like, and having seasonal and regional fruits, and take it that each in a positive way, and at the same time, use some herbs also, like in the form of aloe vera, which is a natural moisturizer, and which helps to avoid itching also. So here when they are talking about itching, what context they are talking about. So this is little bit, but we will suggest to eat more vegetarian alkaline food, which will help the energy to move from the root chakra to the top in a more suitable way. Second, when we talk about Kundalini, we talk about the 7 chakras, the Muladhara, the Swadhisthana, the Manipura, the Anahat, and the Vishuddhi, and the Agya chakra, and the Sahasra chakra. So when all these chakras are opened and activated, then it is said that the Kundalini Jagrat. So it is also called that enlightenment. So our understanding of enlightenment is the highest amount of awareness. So when your inner self is connected to the self within, which is like the outside is the micro universe, inside is the macro universe. So when you connect to your consciousness, you are in a state of enlightenment, and you can activate your Kundalini by visualizing certain colors of the chakras, plus some beach mantras are there like Lam, Vam, Ram. You can do those chakras, plus you can do some specific asanas which helps to activate the Muladhara, the Swadhisthana, the root chakra, the sexual chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the biggest chakra, which is to receive the grace of the divine. So Kundalini activation is possible with the help of these practices. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Actually, we are running short of time. That's why I'm not taking more questions. We'll try and work out. Dr. Jitendra, Dr. Anshul Agrawal, Manoj Kak, they raised hand, couple of them. Anshulji, because you being one of the organizers, now I got, okay, Anshulji, just take it on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. Well, I firstly want to thank all the panelists to be here today and give us the opportunity and time to give the guidance to all the people across the globe. Secondly, I would also like to thank International Chamber of Service Industry to support us in all the manners. Well, the guidance of the people like Ayush is always a favorable in all the manners and terms, and we are going ahead and looking forward for a longer run, and definitely we all people will gonna fight with this COVID-19, and we are also coming up with some more series on the same subject. So hope all the viewers and all the listeners will gonna connect with us soon on the same thing. Thank you so much.
For being a part of this particular webinar today, and thanks for sharing your wonderful views. And thank you, Anshul. We look forward to doing more programs. And it reminds me, the day is not far, like there is a 21st June, which is being observed and celebrated as International Yoga Day. Ayurveda is coming on the global soil now with all its ingredients and all its programs. All of us together, we got to take on this agenda forward. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Thanks for joining. Thanks a lot to each one of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. Thank you so much.
Thank you.